Welcome to the YCNU podcast. Join us each week for engaging conversations with campus leaders, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community members. From academics to athletics, campus life, and beyond, we cover it all. Have someone you want to hear from? Let us know. Let's explore the world of Yavapai College together.
Hello, I'm Cadu Medina, your host for today's episode, and I'm here with Philip Reid, Professor of Computer Science at Yavapai College. Welcome, Phil.
Thanks for having me, Cadu.
It's great to have you. And it's too bad that the audience that is listening to this conversation can't see how good you look right now. We took pictures just to use it as a witness. I want to share it with the podcast so they can see it.
Yeah, you should.
You're a gentleman.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Phil, can you please introduce yourself and tell us what your role here at Yavapai College is?
So, as you mentioned before, I'm Philip Reid, department chair at a college here for computer science. I'm the lead for the Bachelor's of Computer Science degree that we're launching right now. Mm-hmm. I also teach a number of the computer science courses here.
That's fantastic. Love it. Tell us a little bit more about you, because you have a very interesting background and history there. I want you to share some of that with us so we can get to know the man behind the cool outfit right there that they can't see, unfortunately, but I can. So tell us a little bit about your background, the how and when you got involved in computer sciences, and how did you end up here at Yavapai College?
Oh, man, that's a journey. We would probably be here. We'd probably be here a long time, but I'll try to summarize it a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Jamaica. Computer science, I literally just fell into computer science. I remember growing up wanting to be, just like any kid, you want to be a fireman, you want to be a policeman, and I particularly wanted to be a pilot.
Okay.
Yeah, particularly wanted to be a pilot. And I remember my Spanish teacher, I was failing Spanish, right? Just failed it, And she said to me, she asked me, what do you want to be? She said, I want to be a pilot. She says, you can't be a pilot if you fail Spanish. That was, imagine saying that to a 10-year-old boy, right?
Right.
And, so that just kind of crushed my dreams there of being a pilot. But later on, as life would have it, we had a computer science teacher. And at that time, my family, we couldn't afford to go to classes. So I would sit outside of the class.
Wow.
And, just listen. And the teacher got fed up one day and said, you know what, if you're going to be out here, come inside and learn something.
There you go.
And that's where it started, right?
Those are the good ones.
Yeah.
That's made a mark.
Exactly, and that's where it started. I still remember my first program written in GW Basic. And it was to write, to solve simultaneous equations. Mm-hmm. So I still remember and just loved it ever since.
What decade was that?
Oh my goodness.
Because that in technology matters, right?
You're going to try and age me now?
No, I just want to know, were you in the pioneering days of technology, or
it's funny
later?
You say that. I think when you think about technology, you try using the term pioneering, I think there are different eras of technology, and I think that was I was going to say transitionary period,
okay, where
we were moving from the mainframe type of computers to PCs.
Okay,
and programming now was you had GW Basic or Basic coming out, where you could write certain programs for accounting companies, stuff like that. So that was way back then. I think that would have been, I guess it's going to age me, but that would have been back in I would probably say 86.
Okay.
1986 or 87.
That's what I think in terms of personal computing. Mm-hmm. It's the early days. That's the pioneering days, right?
Yeah.
That's when Bill Gates was saying somewhere that every person on the planet is going to have a personal computer, and people are like, no, they're not.
Exactly. Those were the days when laptops were really huge. You're really walking around.
They weighed like 100 pounds.
A suitcase, right? You're walking around with a suitcase. But, that really kickstarted my journey, into computer science. Never looked back. when I got here to Yavapai College, I actually started out at Yavapai College as a database administrator. So I started out in ITS, and this would have been back in 2005.
Wow.
So again, this is going to, kind of date and age me. But I've been in computer science ever since, right? Worked in a number of industries, developed thousands and thousands of lines of code, learned, almost every language that there is. So when I came to Yavapai College, worked as a DBA, and then moved on, worked in, industry for a number of years, and then just decided, okay, let me come back and actually teach.
That's so cool.
I know. It's fulfilling. I tell you, it is fulfilling when you come back into the classroom, you're passionate about the thing that has given you a career, and you're imparting that to students. And, you get back when a student says to you, Professor Reid, your class helped me get this job, or your class helped me understand this concept in another class better. That's just, it sends you through the roof in terms of how you feel.
That's the goal.
Yes, it is a goal.
That's the pinnacle. That's really cool. So let's talk about the Bachelor of Science in Computer Sciences, because I know that this is the big thing that's in your mind right now, and it's keeping you busy every single day. Yavapai College just recently officially launched this new bachelor's degree, and I want you to tell us everything about it, right? So let's start here with what inspired Yavapai College to introduce this bachelor's in computer science, and what makes this program particularly unique compared to other programs from other institutions. It's not a new thing, but it's a new thing to us and for this region especially, right?
So, as you know, when Yavapai College started out or embarked on offering 4-year degrees, we looked at a number of degrees, right? Business, nursing, and computer science was up there as well.
Okay.
So computer science was always that third degree we were going to pursue, and mainly because of the potential for, high-paying jobs, the potential for persons to just really get a career out of it, right? So it was a natural thing for us to do. Our journey with it, though, right? We spent probably about a year really researching, looking at who our competitors were, looking at what the market is looking for in terms of computer science professionals. And then we designed the degree specifically around how do we, graduate someone who will then get a job, a solid job in that arena.
That's incredible. So 2 really important things here. One, was nothing like this in this area, and it's a high demand type of degree or education for people to engage into some more technical work out there. And the second thing you're telling me here is that the way we designed it was really to kind of enforce that our focus and determination here to provide education that creates job opportunities for people, right?
100%. And with this computer science degree, it makes that student coming out, graduating with it, a well-rounded computer science professional. That's important. A well-rounded computer science professional. You rarely find those these days.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, can you give us an overview of the curriculum here? What are some of the core courses, and how do they prepare students for careers in this tech industry that we're talking about here? This is another thing that changed, I'm sure. It's not like maybe it was like a much more simpler thing back in the 80s and the 90s. There's 2 things you can teach people to code. Now there's like artificial intelligence. There's a million things. So what do we cover with our curriculum, and how is this, really kind of beneficial for a student?
Great question. So when we designed it, we had that question in mind, right? How do we really tailor this?
Where to start?
Exactly. And again, he did a lot of research, a lot of looking at what's out there, a lot of discussion with industry professionals as well. We assembled a advisory board that sat with the curriculum, looked through it, and said, you know what, you guys are good. This is what we want out there. So we looked on 3 main areas, right? We looked on programming, general computer science and programming. We looked on data science. We looked at big data. And of course, we looked at cybersecurity as well. We offer that.
That's another big one. Yeah.
And then most important, I shouldn't say most important. Lastly, we also looked at artificial intelligence, as it is an emerging, and I'm going to use the term emerging technology, and ever-changing technology as well.
Right.
So we designed the degree to really look at those focus areas. Now, when a student graduates with our degree, they can then decide, okay, you know what, I now want to specialize in artificial intelligence. And they've had that solid foundation of what that is.
Right.
We have 2 courses, and I'll focus on artificial intelligence right now. We have 2 courses in the lower division, Intro to AI, and that's a curriculum tailored by Intel. So you know that it's going to be top of the line. And then we have the advanced artificial intelligence that is, a curriculum from Amazon Web Services. So it's tied to those courses that students will be doing is tied to in what industry is
like
already
real
doing.
demand and right here, right now.
Exactly.
Intel, you just mentioned 2 of the biggest names here, Intel, Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we designed it that way,
Perfect.
right? And so we have those partnerships with those organizations that will help us with the curriculum and keep that curriculum fresh. So whenever they change, or curriculum change, or material changes, so the student won't have to worry about, well, am I really learning what's out there, what's the latest and greatest?
Right.
100% they will.
That's incredible. It's going to be like your auto update, like your laptop is updating every week because there's a new OS version.
Yeah.
Our bachelors in science and computer science will be kind of like that. Every week we'll have an update.
Every week. I would probably say because of how the cycle is, you can be rest assured that content will be fresh every single time the cycle is run, right? So you're talking about maybe every semester. And I don't expect, based on what we've seen, we haven't seen that many changes in terms of the curriculum.
Right.
Both Intel and Amazon have been very careful in terms of what they push out, in terms of what they want their students to know, or people to know. So you won't find that rapid change in the curriculum, but what you will find is it is current. It is current to what the industry is looking for.
That's perfect. Well, are there opportunities for students also to gain practical hands-on experience? I know this bachelor's is mostly online, right?
It's 100%
100% online?
100% online. And, when we talk about, 100% online, somebody would say, well, how do you do that with a computer science degree?
Right. How do we do that 100% online?
Exactly. And again, that was part of the research that we did, right? We said, how do we get, for example, a student needs to sit around a lab and do his lab. How do we do that? Well, again, internally we sat down and said, okay, what are the tools? What's the infrastructure that we're going to need to create this? So we've created virtual labs that a student can be in Timbuktu, never have to walk inside a building to do his lab. He gets a virtual machine that he sits on his couch, maybe watching TV, stops, go do his lab. As if he's sitting
awesome.
around, sitting inside of an actual lab in the class.
Is that designed in an augmented reality kind of environment?
No, not yet. Not yet. But we're again, the sky's the limit for us, right? So not yet. But that is something also that we toyed with, right? We thought about, having sessions where it's augmented. Student is using maybe VR or whatever it is, and kind of, for lack of a better word, teleports themselves into a classroom with their peers. So we're not there yet, but that's something that is not off the table.
That's incredible. Well, we're talking about creating jobs here, not creating jobs, creating a curriculum that really favors the jobs, right? The getting the training that they need so they can go out there and get the job opportunities that are available to them. What are some of these hands-on experience through internships, research projects, collaborations that we have, baked into this curriculum here so that these students are ready to engage with the workforce once they graduate or even halfway through it?
Yeah, again, you just said it, right? We have 3 specific courses that the students will get will get added hands-on. Every course they will have hands-on, right? Every single course they will have hands-on, real world, experience. But we have 3 courses. We have one which we call the internship, right? That's the internship. They work with a company, and we have a whole internship department that actually handles that. the minute the student signs up for this degree, they're in touch with our internship coordinator. So from year one, that student already knows, by year 3 or whenever they're getting through their cycle,
right,
they know they have that internship and they'll have that real world experience. Another course we have there is their capstone. No, they have to do a capstone. So no, they're also not only just doing it in the real world, but they're now coming back and applying that knowledge, developing something on their own that they'll have a portfolio to hand off to a future employer.
Perfect.
We do have another course we're calling it special topics. And this is where the student gets to focus on one of those areas that they've done before, something that interests them. They can do additional research in that area and then produce, right, that project or that portfolio at the end.
Perfect. Are these internships and capstone projects that you're mentioning here, are we connecting them with real companies that we partnered with?
Connecting them with real companies, which is why
that's a big difference right there. Not a fictitious project company.
No, not a everything will be real world problems, real companies. So again, when the student comes in from day one and they've identified computer science, bachelor's of computer science as their degree, they're going to be connected with our internship coordinator.
Wow.
They're also connected with our advisors who monitor them, guide them all the way through the process. By the time they're at that level to take the internship, they would have already secured it probably a semester or 2 before with that organization. So that organization will already know, okay, we have this many students coming in or that student coming in. The student will already know what they will be doing in the internship. But yes, to answer the question, it is connected to
that is special.
Real company, real world, solving real world problems.
That's super special. What kind of career paths or advanced education opportunities here do you envision for graduates of this program? And how does Yavapai College support students in achieving these goals? I mean, not just a job, but other career paths, and maybe we've been talking about students that are transitioning from one area to another, from business into tech, or vice versa.
Okay. So let me throw some numbers at you in terms of
love it.
When we did so when we did our research, I know we did our research and we started to look at what careers can they get into.
Oh,
so
perfect.
that's the first part of that question, right?
Right.
So you look at a software developer, and the average salary of the software developer now is about $115,000 a year.
Way
right?
above the average.
Significantly above the average, right? A web developer, right? You're talking about 80 to 90 a year. UX designer, developer, that's 123. Mobile applications. So we're talking high-end careers, right? A software engineer, they're running at $114K per year. And then the IT project manager, which I would probably call, the top of the line, they're at 142.
Wow.
So, we're really targeting our graduates to be able to move into these roles relatively easy, and employers to understand that, these graduates will be ready to work. And I'm using that term, ready to work,
right?
Not just, okay, yeah, you know what, I'm going to give them, it's almost like you're recruiting an athlete and you're thinking, okay, I got to give him a semester before he's ready to play. No, they're going to be ready to play right out the door day one once they graduate. And that's really what we're shooting for in terms of our graduates.
That's awesome. That's a big goal to achieve, but a very exciting one. And the numbers are here to not lie, to not let us just kind of fly crazy here. We know this exists. This is a real demand. There's a real demand for these students. There's a real demand for this trained workforce.
It is. And, let me add to that. How we are going to accomplish that is through the experienced faculty that we've assembled to deliver this, right? And right now our faculty is, really excited about it. We've designed the curriculum, designed the courses with the industry experts or with the industry partners like Amazon and Intel. But the faculty is who's going to actually drive this and help our students to get to that expert or close to expert level.
Let's go a little deeper in that, because I like the direction here. It's not just Professor Phil
No.
putting this show on the road, right? So give us an understanding here of what is the staff and the faculty behind all this? Just gonna paint the picture here for us. So let's get some shout outs. You know, there's been a lot of work to get this thing on the road. So
a lot of show. Well, for one of the big shout outs I'm going to give to is to my dean, Perry Baker, right? Who has really been, you know, a silent but strong supporter of this program. You know, I want to give a shout out to, you know, again, the faculty, you know, Deborah Hughes, one of our lead faculty. She's been here forever. She's one of our adjuncts. You know, I shout out to her as well. I want to shout out to, let me think. No, you're putting me on the spot to try to remember everybody's name. This is when you get older.
It's kind of like the Oscars. I'm not going to play a song here to cut you off, so just go.
No, but you know, we've assembled a team, and I'm going to use that term, assemble a team of faculty. We have, you know, 4 in the cybersecurity area. We have 3 of us in the computer science and applications area. We have 2 in the data science area. And then we have, you know, one myself on the, you know, kind of, you know, doing both duties in artificial intelligence.
Okay.
So we're really well-rounded in terms of capturing all the areas we wanted to focus on in the degree.
That's wonderful. It's a great team. And this is just the beginning. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be updated as much as the curriculum is going to be updated, you know, as we grow, as the demand really kicks in. And
yeah, we have future plans. I mean, we're not just going to stop here and say, okay, yeah, this is the degree and that's it. We've already had, you know, requests for specializations.
Oh, I bet.
Right. And so now we're going to be looking at that, you know, after this, be looking at that, obviously working with our industry partners to say, what does a specialization look like? Now we've done the degree. Now we're getting them out there. What does an AI, you know, professional look like? What does a cyber, and, you know, I'll put it as cybersecurity has settled down a bit. If you think about a few years ago, cyber was all the rage.
Right.
And we really didn't know what that area looked like. And so now it's kind of settled down and we have a clear vision, clear view of what a cyber professional looks like. If you were to ask, what does an AI professional look like? We really don't know yet.
I know.
Right? Because it's ever so changing. But because we're going to be working with those leading industry partners, we'll have a great idea of, okay, what should that look like? And how should we position ourselves to produce graduates to perform in this area?
The bachelor's is new, and we're starting this now, and we're excited to kind of break this news here with the world. But it's not our first day in computer sciences, right? You've been teaching plenty of classes and associates, and just give us a little bit of a background here. We're not brand new in computer science. We've been teaching this stuff for quite some time now.
Yeah, we've been, right? So we have a number of other certificates and degrees that, you know, and I'm glad you asked that question, because a student taking some of these other computer science degrees will be able to easily transition into the bachelor's. So, for example, a student comes in and they want to pursue programming. Well, we have a programming certificate that takes them 2 semesters. They're ready to work with that programming certificate. They decide to come back and do the associates in computer systems and applications. Well, that computer science certificate, you know, moves directly into the associate's degree.
Perfect.
And they spend another, you know, 2.5 semesters doing that.
Right.
Then they decide, okay, you know what? I want to pursue the bachelor's. They have to do nothing else other than go declare it and move into their 3rd and 4th year. So we've designed most of our programs to kind of stack on each other. Even a student comes in and decides they want to do video game development. We do have a video game certificate. We have a number of students that have gone through that. So they can take that pathway and still end up with a 4-year degree. And, you know, I really want to emphasize that, because you have students, or you have, you know, young persons who think that they cannot achieve a 4-year degree. They think it's just beyond them. Right. But this pathway at Yavapai College and how we've designed it around what we offer gives them that opportunity, gives them that edge when they're done, and they can actually see, I can actually graduate with a bachelor's in 4 years.
Right. And even if you're not a student, even if you are a working professional, you've been working in computer sciences for a while, you're in the IT department, but a bachelor's degree was never a thing that you thought you could do because I'm too busy with work and all that. Especially for these people, I guess, this is a degree for them.
Exactly. This is something that you have those persons, working professionals, want to come back and complete it. They've thought about it, and for whatever reason, life happens, right? Life happens. They thought about it and said, well, but no, they have that opportunity. I can even bring the skills that I already have, bring that back and get credit for it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And we're a community college. We're Yavapai College. So that opportunity may not have been affordable at the time, but it is now. And then there's another, I would say a differential here for our education. It's more affordable. It's right here. And we have an incredible admissions, staff that can help with all kinds of questions as far as financials and everything else. Is that a thing that you feel like we have a leg up on the competition? I'm quote marking here.
Well, I think so, though, Cadu. I think so. I think when you think about the reason for community colleges to exist, let's put computer science off to the side for a bit.
Yep.
And you look on why you have a community college, to serve that community, to provide this higher level of education for those local persons in the community who may not be able to afford it. And so now with this bachelor, somebody, who is local, wants to do a computer science degree, they don't have to travel miles to go and get it.
Right. Yeah.
Right. They don't have to think about the high cost of, some of the larger institutions. They can get it right here, right in their backyard for a fraction. And when I say a fraction of the cost. And it is 100% an accredited degree. So that degree can take them, if they decided to do a master's somewhere else, it's 100% accredited, and they can walk away with that degree and pursue even further higher education with it.
Which, by the way, it doesn't even have to be their backyard. It could be a backyard 100 miles away, 1,000 miles away. It's an online course.
It's an online. So they could be in Abu Dhabi, a backyard anywhere.
They could be in Jamaica. They could attend to this college.
They could be in Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, they could.
They could.
Which probably, hopefully, they'll identify the accents here in this conversation and go like, "Oh, that's my people."
Exactly.
No, I love it. Well, tell me about the enrollment, and this is happening right now. In case someone listens to this podcast here, like way in the future, we are in 2025. This is April. We're starting to have conversations about fall enrollment here for Yavapai College, but we're ready to enroll, right?
We're ready to enroll. Come Monday, the gates will open, and we want everyone who has wanted to come back to college or want to pursue a degree in computer science to enroll, right? Everyone to come and enroll. It's an exciting time, as a matter of fact, to be in computer science. Even if you don't know anything, computer science was probably something that seems scary to you or big to you. We will take that student from day one, grown up, and teach them every single thing they need to know about computer science. So yes, it is an exciting time for them for anyone to decide to get into that computer science space and earn a higher, earn a degree and get a higher paying job.
That's awesome. What advice would you give to a student that's thinking about this? Not just a young student, but a professional learner, someone who is thinking about, I need to do something about my career, and this might be a thing, who are considering pursuing this degree in computer science, but might be unsure, may not know if they can afford it, can do it. It's too hard for me. I'm too old to learn. I'm too young to learn, or any other kind of insecurity that might go on there. What would you tell them if they're in that position right now? And is this the right path for them?
The thing that comes to mind here is, and I'm going to steal Nike's slogan, is just do it. You will have all the excuses to tell you not to. You'll have all the excuses to tell you why you can't, why you shouldn't just start. Go to the website, click it, big and bold. It says what? Click here. Talk to one of our advisors. They are ready and waiting to sit with you, work through whatever you're going through in terms of, whatever you're thinking of why you can't do it. They have all the tools, all the information to help guide you through how you can achieve this with, at the lowest cost for yourself, as well as, in the quickest time.
I'm going to throw a curveball here at you.
Okay.
You
I'm not a baseball. I'm soccer. So not baseball. So
okay.
Curveball.
I'm gonna volley a ball to you.
Oh, okay.
Right,
I like it.
right in the box.
All
okay.
right.
Here we go. What is a piece of advice that you would have enjoyed or you would have taken advantage of if you had been given that advice when you started your career?
Wow.
Something that might have changed something about your path in computer science. What would be that advice that if you had gotten that advice when you were young in this career, it would have made a big difference?
I would say, don't give up. That would be it. And I'll be a little bit vulnerable in this podcast here, and
please do,
and talk a little bit about my journey. Is when I started, I didn't initially pursue my degree. I was very good at computer science. Coding came natural to me. As I was mentioned, right? I walked in that class, and in day one,
right,
I was able to write a program solving simultaneous equations. And, I still remember the teacher saying, wait a minute, he just comes in and he's able to write this program and you guys were here before. So it became natural to me. And, I got stuck in this loop of, well, I can just do it. And did not realize how important getting that education, getting that degree, getting those certificates were. And there are times when I started and then I stopped and started. So the advice I would give is don't think that it's too big for you, right? That you can't achieve it. Don't settle for, okay, I can just do this piece of computer science. I'm good at coding, so I'm just going to stay with this. Mm-hmm. No, don't settle for that. Having an education is one of the most important decisions in your life. And I would say to any student going out or any person who is considering this, just like Nike says, just do it. Get up, click on that button, go to the Yavapai College website, click here. Even if you're not even sure of where to go, right? Go talk to someone, call the number. And I don't know if you have the number, we can just give it out on the podcast here, but call one of our advisors and they will guide you through it.
Absolutely. YC.edu, phone numbers, emails, everything is going to be on YC.edu. But I love it. I'm going to start calling you Dr. Phil from now on.
I know, man. I need to. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. When that happens, I'm going to change my profession.
There you go.
Yeah, and
you're gonna be our Jamaican Dr. Phil.
Oh my goodness,
a better one, a more fun one, and better looking one as well.
There you go. There you go. That's right,
Phil. Anything that we left behind? Any final thoughts?
No, I mean, the only thing I can think of is just really try to encourage the listeners to, if they're thinking about a career in computer science, Yavapai College is that first stop, first place to go get it. If they have friends, family that is thinking of it, have them go to our yc.edu, reach out to an advisor, and sign up. And even if computer science, yes, we're here for computer science, but even if computer science is not your thing, getting an education is one of the most important things they need to do in their lives. And Yavapai College is the best place to do it.
Yes, sir. Phil, thank you so very much. It's been so much fun to get to know you better and get a little bit of that background that I didn't know as much. And I hope the audience enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better as well. Thank you for sharing all this awesome information with us. And good luck with the bachelor's degree in computer science. I know it's going to be a hit. I know we're going to have a bazillion students super happy here making this future generation of computer scientists for us.
Thank you for having me, man. We're excited about it. And again, we just really can't wait to start this journey with those students who will change their lives through this degree.
Phil, thank you very much for being on the podcast. We'll catch you later. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the YCNU podcast. We hope you enjoyed our conversation today. Don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got someone in mind for our next chat? Reach out and let us know. Until next time, keep exploring, and we'll see you next week.